Cats and Kittens, Oliver Jose, Yorochku. We're back in the Crisis Corner on C3 Weekly. C3 Weekly is where we talk all things Crucial Crisis Comics, give you insights into what we're doing, what we have coming up, and basically, you know, how the sausage is made, so to speak. Got here my co-founder of C3 Comics, Alan Cole, back in the Crisis Corner. Say, hey.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on, Jose?
Hey, what's up, man?
Happy to finally be
Yeah, man. And it's
loud in the door, folks. Loud in the door.
Hey, and this is like a important occasion. It's a momentous occasion, a celebration, you could say, because we've reached the 12th issue of Intrepid as publishers. Now, that is not to say that that's all we've been doing over these years. We've been publishing Intrepid, we've been publishing 4, No One to Save, Shonen Double Feature. Yeah. But this is a landmark. It's the 12th issue of the series that ends the first saga, which I'm always happy to say, of the series. 2 arcs makes a saga. Mm-hmm. So it's big. It's big for us. So we're going to be chopping it up about what it means to have reached this milestone. And I'm asking you, Al, what does it mean for you reaching this 12th issue of Intrepid? What does that signify to you?
Dude, this is everything. I can't even put it into words, honestly. It's a long struggle. You know, Atlas holding the world on his shoulders. You know, that world is the second wave student, you know, second wave universe. And, you know, we getting there, we struggling, we on that one knee, but, you know, we lifting back up again. Intrepid number 12 getting there is I think, like I said in one of my earlier videos, little solo ones, issue number 1 was a milestone because, you know, we realized we could do it. And most people don't know that was our 3rd time doing that. Mm-hmm. So you see was the 3rd version of it. Mm-hmm. Issue number 2 was a milestone, a slight milestone, a small one. No one thinks of it that way but it's a continuation of that first story. And you start to understand how you're leading into issue by issue, how you have to do the breaks, how you have to leave it on a cliffhanger, like you have to structure the stories. It's different than writing a novel, some in a sense. You know, you're still writing chapters, but mm-hmm. you're visualizing it. Like you're actually putting words with pictures. So there's a lot of thought that goes into a lot of coordination. It's marvelous, actually. So issue number 2. Number 6 is usually, you know, unless people do either 3-issue story arcs or they do a 6-issue mini, we get issue number 6. You know, and then, you know, 7 through 11 were good, but it was kind of expected. You know, by that time we hit a flow. So, you know, everyone's kind of dug into their roles. You know what to expect from each person. And it kind of just goes from there. But issue number 12 is just something big, though. It's really a year's worth of, if we were already going through Diamond, this would be a year's worth of content, 1 issue per month that we would be putting out. That's big.
And when we look at a lot of our peers as small publishers or independent publishers, I would say, a lot of them don't get to 12. You know, a lot of them tap out like around 4, 5.
Either they tap out they tap out early, or their goal may never be to get to 12.
Yeah, that's true.
I know a few that just, you know, they just wanted to get like a 2-issue story out, or they just wanted to kind of dabble in it, or they, you know, they're scatterbrained. They have like different ideas. So they want to put out this series and do this one, then do this one. And I mean, everyone has their process. Everyone has their own path they got to take. I know myself. I think you feel the same way. I think Dave and maybe even Rob. You know, we have 1 foot inside the traditional comic book medium, and another foot into how we were when we kind of ventured into this whole thing. But we want to really make some new changes. So I want to go through Diamond. I want to be in the comic book stores. I want to hit conventions, but at the same time, I want to do things our way. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it takes time to find that. And it takes time once you find it to actually make it a reality. And we're still in that process of making a reality. But issue number 12 is a good stepping stone for that.
It is. And another thing I think about is especially when we started, like way back. A lot of people who were independent publishers, it was a stepping stone.
Mm.
They came up with their creations so that they could get the job on Spider-Man or get the job on X-Men or
Hmm.
whatever.
Most
You
definitely.
know, we just wanted to tell our story. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you gave me $1 million and said write Spider-Man, I'd at least take a stab at it. But you know, I don't really want to
But I think
tell.
out of the group, Jose, you might be the only one that's actually talented enough to get a Marvel or DC gig. So it was never my aspirations to do that. I just wanted to tell my story.
But it's
Uh,
like, and what you're saying, aspirations. I don't particularly want to write Spider-Man. Like I say, if you threw $1 jillion at me and said, right, you know, Squirrel Man, I'd at least take a stab at it. But that's just like, you know, pimping yourself out for whatever, which is business. You know, I'm not an anti-business. I'm just saying
so it is a business.
what drives you is what keeps you going through the grind. You know what I'm
It is
saying?
a business.
Yeah. Telling four stories, telling Intrepid stories, that's the drive. It's not
Mm.
just, you know, yeah, it's a passion project, you know.
You want to? You said something. Something else that number 12 brings to light. Um, of course, just in my opinion, you know, this was a passion project for all of us. You know, regardless of where our aspirations were further on, like how you said, people they get, they want to do this so they can move further up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we had, no understanding of the industry that we were venturing to take over
Mm-hmm.
in our younger days. And so when we started to implement things, a lot of that got chopped away and kind of, we're not chopped and chiseled after a while. Now it's kind of chiseled where, you have a particular story you want to tell, you want to tell it this way, but oh, you have page restrictions. Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just increase pages, we're our own thing. And now,
Mm-hmm.
remember I wrote that 60-page issue number 3 of for Maget?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's things you can't do logistically. You
yeah,
just
yeah.
can't do it. You don't run into those until your passion and what it actually like reality collide. And
Mm-hmm.
you won't necessarily get that with issue number 1 or issue number 2. You might not
Mm-hmm.
even get to issue number 6, but around 9, 10, 11, you start to realize, story's not where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Going by the plot submitted. Wow, and you can't go back now.
Mm-mm. No,
Another big thing, you can't go back. Like you can't keep restarting like what you already did because it's already published.
right,
So you can
right.
stay true to it. And now, how do you do that? And so now you start to realize, this is what Marvel and DC and Image, Dark Horse, all these other comic book companies that have money on the line and they have reputation because they've already published certain things.
Right.
And how do you move forward with it? And this is where you want to go with it, but now it's not really where the story is going. It's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's an
Mm,
interesting feeling.
it
It's
is.
interesting
It is.
where we are right now.
Yeah.
You know what? How do you actually feel about it since you're the writer creator of Intrepid? I'm just along for the ride. I
Hmm.
get to kind of keep things in place, but you're actually seeing your creation, your whole universe come to life. This is amazing to me.
It's it's been I've been working on it since like '96 or whatever.
Believe
It's
that.
gratifying. It's gratifying to see that work realized.
Mm-hmm.
It's but at the same time it's kind of scary in that you know you have to, especially if as things pick up and as you see the people repeatedly at the cons to say, hey, when's the next issue coming out or what's going to happen next. Now you're sitting in the seat of those dudes that you will come up to say, hey, when's the next issue of Spider-Man coming out or whatever. So you kind of like, you take it more serious. You know what I mean? It's you understand the business and you understand the responsibility, I guess you would say,
Mm-hmm.
of being a storyteller. It's yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm enjoying the ride. Talk about the challenges that we face getting this far. I mean, the first thing comes to my mind is just the process. You know what I'm saying? Like at Graphic Illusions, let's take not Graphic Illusions, at Atlantic Studios, for
Lang
example.
Studios.
You know, we had to go outsource. Went through Atlantic Studios. I forget they folded shop or something like that.
It did.
It, the product
Did
that
I
they
say
produced
horrible?
for us, did, got rejected by Diamond,
Diamond.
so we had to
Twice.
start all over again. Yeah, you know,
Twice.
yeah.
Yes, you can't get rejected from Diamond. For all you guys that want to aspire to go through Diamond, you can get rejected because
Oh yeah, yeah,
they're a
yeah,
distributor. They want to make money.
yeah.
We got rejected twice. And
And that
it
was
crushed.
it wasn't cheap.
No,
So
especially since those
it's
versions were in color.
yeah, yeah,
At one time, Intrepid was in color, everyone.
yeah,
Intrepid was
yeah.
in color and realized,
It
yeah,
didn't
we were
work.
going to go and we're going to we were going to follow ourselves. We were going to follow what we really wanted to do. And at that time, a lot, well, Jose, I believe you and Dave were probably already into manga
Mm-hmm.
more than I was. And it was, you guys were my pulley into
Mm-hmm.
it, I guess. Because I was looking at some anime, but not really reading manga. And, once I started, I kind of fell in love with the whole black and white process. And when we started
Mm-hmm.
calling ourselves a American manga company,
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of fit. And then we lucked out with Montos
Ah,
and
yeah.
had a pretty grimy style that really, but then, he knew how to soften it up at
True.
just those right moments. So it
Mm-hmm.
it it, it kind of worked itself out. And apparently Diamond saw something as well because Lord, oh, we had issue number one.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, through them, be accepted and picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little bit of success, but we weren't ready then.
Right, right, right.
Ready then, and that was another I guess moment for us to kind of realize that, like, wow, the industry is way different than what we thought it was.
And
Yeah.
keeping our art team together, I think of that. That's another challenge because people move on. You sitting here thinking, oh, I got these 12 or whatever issues scripted. All right, let's get to work. And your man say, oh, I got a job with Image or whoever. I'm out. So then you're like, oh, so you got to find up, next man up. You know what I'm saying? Find the next dude. Find the next dude.
You know what? That is true. I think that's not spoken of enough. As creators and as writers, you get in and you think that everyone is going to kind of feel the passion for your project that you do, and it's not that they don't. It's not that they don't feel it when they're working on it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a project for them. Like it
Mm-hmm.
really is. And I think the further along you get, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 issues down the road, at some point, I think, and let me know if I'm right in my assessment, Jose, is that you haven't disassociated yourself from the artist, but you realize that they realize that it's a project.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you don't attach yourself too much with them, but you do stay attached as long as everything is moving good.
Yeah.
Because you do have to pivot at some point if something goes wrong. You can't hold the project up because of
Yeah.
unforeseen circumstances. Yeah.
Yes.
Which
I
is something
still,
that we
I
had to learn.
still, as you know, we got back with Montos for a special cover. We still on good terms with him. I mess with Bruno Lima. I mess with Kanan White. I mess with all them dudes.
Well, that's breaking news for everyone
Yeah,
right
all them.
now. That was going to come whenever you were ready to release the cover.
Yeah,
Drop
yeah.
the cover.
They ain't
But
seen it yet. Yeah, but they did
yeah, no
say,
one's seen it yet.
yeah, yeah. But
Still a
like I
yes.
said,
But yeah, Montos is coming back to do an amazing cover.
yeah, sick.
An amazing
Sick.
cover.
And
Oh
he's
man, still
currently
got
on what is it, Green Lantern War Journal?
Atlanta. Yeah, War Journal.
War Journal, yeah, very successful artist, and I'm happy for him. I told him to, but he consented to come back and do a cover for us, and
So
I really, and he
nice,
rocked, he rocked.
nice to have him come. Nice to have him come back home again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And like I said, I mess with Kanan. He's done pieces for us here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno does sketches and pinups. So I mess with all these dudes. And then if you move on, you move on. That's fine. I don't burn no bridges. I don't like get out of here. How dare you leave? that ain't my deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just a business. You know.
Of course not.
Yeah.
We all in this to have fun
Yeah.
and to
Yeah. Yeah.
create something. So yeah, there's no point burning bridges.
Nah. Nah.
This is just what somebody, we need them to help create, you know. I suppose they need people like ourselves,
Right. Right.
to help them create, to bring things to life. It's all part of the process.
Now, having gone through these ups and downs, in and outs, how has that changed your perspective of the industry, of the comic industry, from
So
beginning, from when we first started off to now?
I have much more respect for people that work in the industry. When we first started, we take a lot of things into consideration now when we do our books that we didn't before. Honestly, we could have probably hit issue number 12 with Intrepid, maybe like, I don't know, what's this, 2024, 2005, maybe like 10 years ago, if we never would have stopped to do 4 or SDF or No One to Save, if we wouldn't have diverted resources to kind of get these other ideas going,
Mm-hmm.
we could be further along. We could be at, 24, 36 issues of Intrepid. So, that is a downside, but then we do have, other products. So, we just kind of got to keep going with the flow with it. But
Mm-hmm.
it makes you acknowledge things that we didn't, we just thought that we could do everything. That comics was just this, it's just comics. And that was the thing. It's just comics. Like, no, it's a business, and it's a multi-billion dollar business. I mean, where you include, the movies and the games and the merchandise and everything, it is a huge business. So when you're looking, I don't really look and criticize a lot of creators or people that work on certain things. I'm not going to crap on people's stuff. I like studios do things. There's a lot of other people that you're dealing with when you get on that level. So if you're dealing with, if you're at Marvel and you're working on Fantastic Four, and the editor has a particular direction that he wants to go in for whatever reason, it's your job to make that happen, whether you want it to or not. So now it may not even be like your dream project no more. It's just, you're on it, and then next thing you know, you got everybody coming out saying that, oh, you're woke, or you don't know how to write, you don't know what you're doing with these characters. It's it's depressing at times to kind of see like where it is, because since there's so much open atmosphere for people to kind of talk and to give their opinions on things, but literally doing this, us grinding for it, having obstacles in our own personal lives that have taken us away from it for a while. Just you kind of see, and then then they kind of stick with it, because I can actually sit back and think like, I'm pretty sure some of the elements of Intrepid are going to come across as being woke, because when they were written or when they were envisioned, it was years ago. This wasn't, a lot of this stuff wasn't an issue, but now it just seems to be an issue. But it's an issue by people that declare everything just people just don't like anything. So even now, we're hitting our stride when there's so much to be said about everything from everyone. So now that's a new dimension. That's something that we're going to have to deal with at some point in time if we continue. Just
I'm with you. And when you think about it, when we started off, YouTube reviewers weren't that big a thing. They
nope.
were there. I mean, YouTube, but I don't even know if, to be honest with you, did YouTube exist when we started?
I
I'm
actually
talking
can't
about
remember. It
it
was like
might
a
not
98,
have.
it was like
Right.
90 or something. So
Okay. I mean,
I know
but
we
it's
weren't using it.
right. And the thing is, with the with the higher rate of reviewers, like you said, you got more criticism because negative reviews get clicks. You know what I'm saying? You have a hard time finding somebody that gives like positive opinions and balanced criticism. You either it's one side or the other. Either you're a shill or you're just a straight up hater. one or the other.
Right.
It's like no, but there's no room for anything aside from it. If you want to get clicks, if you want to get whatever. Now, I mean, I have more respect for, as you said, creators that are out there, on the grind. Especially, the only thing that really teases me off is bad craftsmanship, because we
Mm,
have to fight to do that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? People would, just crap on us hard if we didn't, stay on our P's and Q's and work on our craftsmanship. So if you
it's
come out
true.
there with poor craftsmanship, I'll call you out. I ain't got no problem with that. But, at the same time, not to the extent that I probably would have a few years ago. Because as you go along in the process, you realize how difficult it is to do this, you know, and how easy it
Yeah.
is to get called out on little stuff. So that I have a newfound respect for creators,
By people
basically.
that have never, by people that have never done it.
Right, right.
And I think that's kind of where it is now. It's like, if you're trained to be a boxer and you've trained for 10 years, and then you get into a fight and then people that, just news reporters, whatever, sports reporters, they're commenting on everything that you do negatively.
Right.
know, I could imagine that I would get frustrated because you can't do it.
Right, right.
You can't do 1% of what I can do. But look at you sitting here critiquing. You know,
those
it's
that
it's
those that can't criticize.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's yeah. So that's there's that. Another thing I think about is the work that you have to put into behind the scenes. I mean, like back in the day when we was on Minnesota Avenue, we was back coming up
Hmm.
with all our you know think tank sessions and going up until
Taylor
1
Road,
o'clock in the morning. Yeah, yeah.
Taylor Road, Minnesota, Stanton, all over
Remember,
the place.
remember the publishing schedules and all. I still got all that stuff. We had like 4, 5, 6 books going a month,
Yeah,
whatever.
that. So we should post that one. We should post that one to let people know how where our mentality was. I mean, we had the talent. We had the wish, the wantfulness to kind of do it, to sit there and just, I mean, that was hours and hours of just coming up with writing down, this is where this is going to fit. And then for
Yeah,
people to see, wow, we have 13 issues coming out after like 2 years or the same month every month. I mean,
it's
the industry really kicked us in the nuts. It's like,
yeah. But
it's
at the
all
same time, I
going
don't
on.
I don't see that as having been a wasted effort
Oh, no, it would, no,
because
it helped our growth along the
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. I think
You know,
I look back on that fondly, and like I said, I still got all the notes. So
we had a lot of fun,
yeah, yeah.
a
So
lot of fun.
the process is fun, you know.
Dude, I remember
No,
doing 12-hour work day. That's when I was working with Nike. And I was
yeah,
doing
yeah.
12-hour work days and would come home and, one of you guys would call and be like, oh, we're going to talk about this and this. Next thing you know, you're on the phone for like 5, 6 hours.
I was
And then you get 3 hours of sleep and then
see,
turn around and go back to work again.
that was
You know,
fun.
it
That was
was.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
It was fun.
So yeah, I look like I said, I look back on that fondly, and it wasn't wasted effort because we're still here. And
Hmm.
technically speaking, all of that stuff is still in play. So
But I think that's something that's interesting too, though, is that, yeah, we did a lot of years before we came out with our first book, before
yeah.
Intrepid issue number one dropped. Officially, the one that people see now, there's a
Hmm.
lot of years behind that. A
Yeah.
lot of years behind that before it ever saw the light of day. So just because it says, released 2005,
Hmm.
we're going back to 1999.
Time well spent. That's all I'm saying. Time well spent. So, what milestone do you look forward to next? I can tell you right now, it's Black Sheep Blues being finished. That's my next. Cause I go talk about soccer. So that's my next milestone. When we finish Black Sheep Blues, On to the next.
That starts at 13, right? So that starts
Yep.
immediately after 12.
Yep. It's
You know what
kind of
I'm looking for our first major big company event.
first
You know,
contact.
yeah, first contact. I know some people, just we chose to go as a company a different route. So we don't do events as much as other companies do events. But I can probably say this is our first huge event.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, and it kind of brings a lot of different elements of Second Wave Studios, which means Second Wave Universe, which start in Intrepid together for the first time, in a fantastic way. And so
Mm.
that's actually the next milestone, creative milestone that I'm looking forward to. And
Okay.
that's what, after Black Sheep Blues and maybe another 2 arcs,
Nah,
right
right
after
after
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep Blues, yeah.
Oh, last soon, milestone make it here last sooner than I
Yeah.
thought. Oh,
I mean, Black Sheep Blues takes a little bit. It's like 8. I think it's 8 chapters.
mm.
But yeah, right after that, boom.
But
Just
people
takes
would like Black Sheep Blues. You're going to meet a lot of other power players within the universe.
mm,
So I think they'll really, really like this, like where it goes after issue number 12.
okay.
And it just,
All right. So that's like I say, we've reached this is the momentous occasion. We're glad that you're here with us. And we look forward to Baltimore Con.
see you
Please,
at Baltimore,
if you,
7
yeah,
more
if you,
weeks.
yeah, September 20th through the 22nd. If you're gonna be in Baltimore, God have mercy on your soul, but come check us out. If you survive, come over by the table and say,
Have a good
hey,
time.
yeah. So that's all we got here from the Crisis Corner. Look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay loose.